Hey guys, this is my review of the new real great new Gundam. The new Gundam. Am I breaking the dad joke scale yet? Anyway, we're going to unbox this thing, we'll take a look at the accessories it comes with, and I'll show you how it compares to some other real grades.
Robo Shop.
Right, so the first thing to notice about the box, of course, is that it's friggin' huge. This is one of these real grade boxes that are really the size of a master grade box. Otherwise, in terms of the overall design, there's nothing unusual going on here. We have, the new Gundam in its entirety here on the right. We have a close-up of the head on the left, just like all these real grade boxes. There's nothing unusual on the side either. The only thing I've noticed is if you look at the inside here, you can see here it only lists. See, this is the real grade new. This is the HG new, real grade Sazabi, HG Sazabi. Both of these suits also have master grade versions. They're not listed anywhere on the box. It's only the 1/144th scale versions. But that's the only thing I noticed here that's a bit unusual. Pretty sure the some of the others actually listed all of the versions that exist, but oh well. Anyway, let's take a look at what's in here. I'm not going to take everything out of the backs. It's not that interesting. But here we have a couple of white sprues. Beam saber blades, as you can see, are very light pink. Sticker sheet, also very much what you'd expect. Chrome stickers on the right here. A lot of these, identical warning stickers. More specific markings. These are all inner frame parts, I'm guessing. Yeah, they're two different colors. I don't know how visible this is, but this is sort of a lighter gray, and then we have a darker gray for these. More armor. The armor seems to all be... Yeah, these are all the same shade of white. So, no real great color separation in that sense, which is a bit odd. We have a yellow sprue here, more gray parts there. Then we have the usual multicolored sprue. This would have to be A then, right? Well, anyway, you've got gray, you've got red, you've got the clear green parts. Thankfully, these are actually green, and I'm not going to have to paint them. Here's something that I actually want to look at real quick, which is the B sprue. Yeah, I'd already heard about this. This is the B sprue, advanced MS joint, see, and these are the joints for the funnels, and that's it. This Gundam has no MS joint parts on the actual suit itself. None. Zero. Diddly squat. Yeah, and here are the parts for the funnels. A lot of stuff in here, obviously, unsurprisingly. What else did I get here? This is the instructions. We'll take a look at those in a second. I think this is, I don't know, some Japanese Google app that I probably can't use anyway. Advertisement for the Gundam base. Advertisement for the Bandai online shop, I guess. I'm just checking real quick if there's anything here that's not already out. I don't know, these might be P-Bandai kits. Yeah, I think this is the RG Perfect Strike, and this is the Tallgeese 3. So, yeah, more ads. Let's take a look at the instructions. Yeah, as has become the norm now, we've got everything in Japanese and in English here. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, and then we have the building instructions. You know what that looks like. You don't need me to thumb through that on camera now. And that's it. And this is where the decals go. So I'm gonna get this guy built, and then we're gonna take a look at him. Okay, so before I talk about anything else, I have to correct something I said in the unboxing real quick. The white parts are actually not all the same shade of white. It does have the usual real grade two-tone colors. It's just very subtle. Like if you look here on the shoulders, this is light gray, this is white. I don't know if you can even see this on camera because of the white balance. And it's the difference is, I mean, I can see it in real life. It does help the appearance of the kit, so I don't want to poo-poo it. But the reality is that the difference is so subtle that that's basically why I missed it in the unboxing. Anyway, let's take just a quick look at the suit first, aside from the fact that, of course, it's beautiful. I just have three things I want to show you guys real quick, which first of all is the fact that if you look here, if you bend the knees far enough, these armor plates will actually start to shift, which is a gimmick that they abandoned with the new Real Grey kits when they stopped doing the pre-molded MS joint frames. And now they've brought it back. And to me, that was sort of the only downside of the fact that the MS joints didn't exist anymore. And now they've fixed that, so it's pretty great. The other thing is it has these, you know, hinged hip joints, of course, lip joints. These hinged hip joints, of course. But there's something new here. See, if you open this, I can show you, if you pull down one leg, which is a little difficult, it's very tight. But if you pull down one leg, here we go, you can see, I mean, if you pull down one leg, I've just said it, you can just pull down one at a time. You don't have to unhinge and move down both legs at the same time anymore, which is something that has always been sort of a pet peeve of mine. And now Bandai has fixed it. I guess they're watching my videos, huh? And last thing about the suit, if you look at the torso here, this will actually bend back this far, which in addition with the neck movement means that you can actually like do a Superman pose now, which is pretty great. So yeah, that's the suit. Nothing more to show you about this. So let's move on to the accessories. First off, we've got the shield here, which, to be perfectly honest, isn't really much to write home about. It has this attachment part that allows you to mount it on the left arm that will swing and rotate, of course. Arm attachment, this is possibly the only thing about this kit that I think doesn't really work all that well. It'll stay in place, but you can see here I barely touched it and it almost came off already. And it's also like, you know, if you swing it forward, it doesn't really cover up anything, and it's just sitting so far away from the arm because of this whole contraption here. And speaking of that contraption, that's actually the reason why this attachment is so loose, because this can move. What you can do here is you can move this up, and when you do, this beam saber will pop out, which I think is possibly the coolest gimmick on the whole suit, even though it's totally useless. You can take this out, and of course there's a beam saber effect part for it right here, and we've got ourselves a beam saber. But speaking of beam sabers, there's actually a cooler one that's mounted here in the backpack. Looks like this, which first of all, it has this really cool little handguard here that you can move up. It has a very different looking bent sort of dynamic blade part that really makes it look like he's swinging it around, and a second blade effect part that goes in the bottom here to give you a beam saber that looks like this, which is really sort of cool and interesting and different from the way these usually look. And also, last thing to do with beam sabers, you see it was plugged in here in the backpack, right? And now what you can actually do if you want to post the kit without the beam saber in there, you can rotate this around. No hole, otherwise looks exactly the same. Now, let's take a look at the funnels. If you put them together the way the instructions say to do for sort of the regular, funnels stored pose, it looks like this. The good news is this is fairly sturdy. They won't just fall apart like they apparently do on the on the master grade. And let me just show you one of these. The way you attach them together is with these two parts here that actually both fold in like that and out like I probably need a toothpick to make this happen. Oh, here you go. See, I can just pull it out with my fingernail. That works really well. They are jointed in two places, of course. This is a funnel all the way unfolded, and then you can fold them like this, or you can fold them up like that to attach them to the suit's back. My only complaint about the funnels is that this one folds up pretty nicely, as you can see. Some of the others won't stay closed, and the problem is, like, I think this tiny little part here is supposed to lock into here, but it just doesn't really work all that well. I mean, it's not a problem, you know, it looks fine when you pose them like this, but that's just the only problem I've noticed with these. Otherwise, you see here you have a whole array of holes here that they can snap into, because of course, you know, you have to be able to attach them in two different ways. One way so that they line up here, and the other way is like that. And that's the funnel contraption, which, by the way, locks onto the suit's back like so, and as you can see, will stay on just fine. Speaking of the funnels and how they attach to the back, you do get a second one of these with the standard kit, which is of course to attach the second set of funnels that you can buy separately from P. Bandai and presumably pay about the same amount of money that you paid for the suit in the first place. Let's move on to the weapons, shall we? This is the gun, which is a very nice looking rifle, but it doesn't really have any gimmicks or anything, which, you know, it doesn't need to have. You can see here lots of color separation. You've got gray, blue, white. It's got these slits here with gray parts poking through, lots of panel lines, and a dedicated holding hand with a trigger finger. Next up is the bazooka, which has, first of all, these nice red missiles in here. It has an expanding and contracting barrel, of course, and it also comes with its own dedicated holding hand, which, aside from the handle here being jointed, the holding hand also has a joint here in the wrist, which means that, unlike a lot of other kits, this one can actually hold its bazooka properly. Let me just show you that real quick. See, it plugs in here, and then you can bend the hand down if you want, and it'll be able to rest on the shoulder here just fine. The only problem with this is, of course, that you can't really have the beam saber in here and the bazooka at the same time. So that's just something to keep in mind there. Also, about the hand options, while we're talking about it, of course, you get two fists. I've got, well, here's the other one. Two closed fists, two of these open hands. One is attached to the suit right now. This is the other one. And you get, strangely, this is a bazooka holding hand for the left. So you get one of these for the left and one for the right, but you only get one trigger finger hand for the beam rifle, which I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah. Also, both of these weapons can be mounted on the suit. Of course, the beam rifle has this little tab here that folds out, and then on the suit you can move down this armor piece, and then you have a hole here that the beam rifle can plug into like this. And if you're wondering why I just had to edit, it's very fiddly. It's a very solid connection once it's in there, but getting it in there is kind of a pain. Also, the bazooka has a similar feature. There's a tab up here that folds out like so, and that then allows you to attach the bazooka to the back like that. And as you can see, that just worked beautifully. Finally, the last little accessory we have here is the action base adapter. And here's how that works. You have to unplug the backpack, take the adapter, and there's an attachment point here, and then this goes back in here, and we have a very solid, as you can see, attachment point here to an action base. And I don't know about you, but personally, I usually prefer these. I usually prefer these kinds of action-based adapters to the ones that go in between the legs. It just looks better because it kind of allows you to pose the kit in front of the action base as opposed to sort of above it with this weird thing going up into its taint. Yeah, that's it for the accessories. So let's move on to pictures. So starting with some size comparisons, here's the Mark II. Yeah, the Nu's pretty massive. And here's the Sazabi, and this one's even bigger, of course. It's been a while since I've seen Char's counterattack, but I'm pretty sure that's just accurate. So, whether you agree with me that this is an absolutely beautiful representation of the new Gundam is up to you, of course. What's objectively true is that this kit is yet another engineering marvel in the real grade line. The build was 100% smooth sailing from start to finish with absolutely no issues, and I didn't have any hand grenade moments posing it for these photos either, so it's also super sturdy on top of its excellent posability and the fact that all of the accessories actually work as intended, including the funnels. I only have two minor complaints. One is that the neck is a bit long. I think that's just sort of faithful to the design and it does help with posing the head, but when you have the kid just standing up straight and looking forward, it does look a bit goofy. The other one is that, as impressed as I am with the design and engineering here, I think we've really crossed the line to where this is now the same thing as a Master Grade kit, just smaller. It took me 2 days just to get this thing snapped together in panel line, and that's just because of the number of parts. And while that's not a knock on the kit itself, it kind of makes me wonder what the point of the real grade line is anymore, if that's what these kits are going to be. But hey, maybe you just don't have the shelf space for a lot of master grades, or maybe you just like the look of smaller size kits better, and I will say that while the Sazabi is still my favorite real grade, this one's pretty damn close. The real grade line is on a pretty crazy streak at the moment with one hit after another, and despite what I just said, I'm already curious to see what's next. And that's it for this one, folks. Don't forget to like that smash button before you close this browser tab. If you have any questions about this kit, let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe and check out my Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.